What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after CaitlinClark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league.
We saw what happened last year. CaitlinClark was targeted.
Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical.
I know what physical basketball looks like.
How can you be a top 5 player if you have not won a title?
They do leave CaitlinClark out for the simple reason of not having a championship ring.
Only strike against CaitlinClark is that she has not won a national championship. And that is the only thing that you can put against her.
Ranking players based on having a ring, a bit of an unfair way just to rank a player's potential.
CaitlinClark just can't catch a break. First, WNBA players single her out, brushing off criticism of their physical play as mere accusations of racism. Now ESPN, the same network that thrived on her rise to stardom, is shamelessly revising history by omitting her from their list of the greatest women's college basketball players of all time.
I do find it interesting that they do tout off all her accomplishments, records that have not been broken by anybody else, and they still cannot consider her in the top 5 best category.
Natasha Cloud is leading the charge in openly criticizing the influx of new WNBA fans, the very supporters contributing to the league's growth and success.
Your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough.
You see when I too knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. It's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting, there was no nothing.
Let's be honest, the real reason for the hate is clear. CaitlinClark entered the WNBA, made an instant impact, and exposed the weaknesses of players who believed they ran the league. A talented rookie came in, disrupted the status quo, and some just can't handle it.
The white lady entered the league and started shutting y'all's asses up. She started knocking them down.
The truth is out, and today we're breaking it all down. Natasha Cloud's divisive rhetoric, ESPN's blatant snub, and the WNBA's desperate attempts to downplay CaitlinClark's impact. Buckle up, because this is about to get heated.
Natasha Cloud has come out and said the new fans that have come into the league, a lot of them are racist.
Natasha Cloud just couldn't help herself. Instead of embracing the WNBA's surge in popularity, she went on the offensive, not just against CaitlinClark, but against the very fans fueling the league's growth.
She went on with fellow racist Ryan Clark on the pivot, talking about how racist we are. They can't see over their own hate.
According to her, the new fans, who, let's be real, are here because of CaitlinClark, are nothing more than racists who don't belong in the WNBA. That's right. On a podcast with Ryan Clark, Natasha Cloud made it clear that, to her, this isn't about basketball. It's about race.
By the end of the first year, y'all all look like fools. The rookie made the all-WNBA team, but y'all got reality checked, and these players are mad. They wanted to grow the league as long as the league were a bunch of woke activist fans.
She flat out denied the reality of CaitlinClark's treatment. The hard fouls, the questionable officiating, and the relentless targeting, insisting none of it was actually happening. Instead, she flipped the narrative, claiming this is simply how the WNBA has always been played, and that the only reason anyone is speaking up now is because CaitlinClark is white.
Are going after certain players. It's all bullshit.
I know what physical basketball looks like, and I know that what I saw on CaitlinClark last year was not physical basketball, it was targeting.
This is the same Natasha Cloud who openly despises Sophie Cunningham, simply because she voted for Donald Trump. The same Natasha Cloud who, rather than taking accountability for her underwhelming WNBA career, chooses to blame the system and the fans.
Natasha Cloud hates Sophie Cunningham for voting for Trump. She hates America.
I tried to have open dialogue. I tried to have hard dialogue with her. And it is what it is. What you vote for this election, we gonna see. But my life depends on it. And if that don't matter to you, you can't tell someone you love them and then vote against their life. Period.
And now, she's trying to rewrite history by pretending CaitlinClark isn't being unfairly targeted. But here's the reality. From the moment Clark entered the WNBA, she's been under attack. Not because she's a rookie, not because she's new, but because she took the spotlight from so-called stars who were used to controlling the narrative. Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas, and now Natasha Cloud have all taken turns trying to discredit her, throwing out every excuse imaginable, except the truth.
Just because y'all are used to playing prison ball for decades doesn't mean it's ethical basketball. No one was watching, so no one cared. Now the world is watching the WNBA, and the new viewers are calling out unethical hoops. It's not racism. It's an unbearable product that needs to change. The players need to be better. The referees need to be better.
Cloud and her allies can cry racism all they want, but here's the truth. CaitlinClark stepped in, dominated, and exposed their flaws. She didn't lean on activism, political narratives, or special treatment. She simply let her game do the talking. And that's exactly why they can't stand her.
It almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when CaitlinClark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holdsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T-Clark, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical. Oh, they're going at them because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical. I can tell you the amount of times I've left with bloody lips and eyes. I have bruises all over my body, even from the game last night. You can see bruises on my elbow from last night. Like, it's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting. There was no nothing.
Right.
That narrative that got spun into, oh, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just gonna be frank, like, it's all bullshit. What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after CaitlinClark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played. Mm-hmm. Watch how Stewie gets played. Watch how Asia gets played. Watch how Enrique gets played. Watch how Khalid gets played. Go down the list of franchise players for every team. They be getting fucked up every game. It don't matter what position you are, what color you are, what school you came out of. This is how we feed our families. Our job is to go and win. And if we don't win, what happens? We get fired. We lose our jobs. So
facts. CaitlinClark is getting mauled, no calls. Ryan Clark is a clout chaser that stinks at sports commentary. His co-hosts aren't worth mentioning. Natasha Cloud, a.k.a. Natasha Clown, is running the race-baiting media because she's average at best in the W, and now she's stuck in Connecticut because she stinks.
And let's not ignore the biggest hypocrisy. The same WNBA that begged for more fans, more exposure, and more respect is now turning against the very people who made it happen. Why? Because these fans aren't the woke activists they wanted. They're real sports fans who care about the game.
Racists everywhere. It is, again, unfair to say the most popular player in the WNBA has seen in years brought that in. Most people were simply upset that their star players were getting roughed up, mostly because they never watched a WNBA game in their life.
The truth is crystal clear. Natasha Cloud isn't angry about racism. She's angry that CaitlinClark and her fans are reshaping the league, and there's nothing she can do to stop it. And if you need more proof that the media is working overtime to undermine Clark, just look at ESPN's latest disgrace. In their ranking of the top 5 greatest women's college basketball players of all time, CaitlinClark, the most dominant, record-breaking, game-changing player of her generation, was completely left out.
Here's the thing. Love Caitlin. Love how she's transcended the game. I'm not going to go away from that. But in the open, we said, what makes a top 5 player? Winning. The only strike against CaitlinClark is that she has not won a national championship. And that is the only thing that you can put against her, because the way she has dominated the record books when she was at Iowa was something you could not duplicate. She's a 3-time NCAA scoring leader and assist leader, a true point guard for the people, 3-time All-American, 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time AP Player of the Year, all-time leading scorer. She broke the records of Kelsey Plum and Sabrina. Like, literally, there is nobody who has been such a front-facing name. It's through a direct reflection of her skill set, but how can you be a top 5 player if you have not won a title?
It's a great point, which is why I agree with you.
And their excuse: she didn't win a championship. Seriously, that's all they've got. But when you break down CaitlinClark's college career and everything she achieved, it's undeniable that she belongs on that list.
If you don't think that CaitlinClark is one of the top 5 basketball players of all time, but for the simple reason of not winning a championship, I do have to disagree. Championships are definitely a team recognition. They are something that a team does together and accomplishes.
All-time leading scorer in NCAA history, men's or women's. outscoring every college basketball player ever, 3-time NCAA leader in both scoring and assists, proving she's the ultimate playmaker. 2-time National Player of the Year and 2-time AP Player of the Year. 3-time All-American. Led Iowa to back-to-back national championship games, carrying the team with her unmatched skill and leadership. Yet somehow, ESPN thinks she doesn't belong on the list of the greatest.
There have always been the dominant teams. There's UConn, there is South Carolina. I think that the fact that CaitlinClark started on a team that did not have mind-blowing talent existing and brought that team to a championship really says something about you as a player. And when you are ranking players, you are ranking them as an individual unit rather than a team.
Despite not playing for a powerhouse like UConn, South Carolina, or Tennessee, let's be clear. CaitlinClark rewrote the record books, played at a level no one else has ever reached, and completely transformed the sport. Yet somehow, she's still being erased from the conversation.
A lot of times, you as an individual can really raise that team up and bring them to a championship. Breanna Stewart, who was ranked #1 in the top college basketball players of all time, but if she would have been on an Iowa team, would she have been able to win that championship also?